Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. My plans for prosperous United Nigerians by Tinubu. NLNG's force majeure may push up gas price. My administration's scorecard by Buhari. I will unlock Nigeria's greatness, says Peter Obi. Wike, PDP should apologize for Atiku's comment. 2023 INEC chair not under pressure to quit. Okay, which story are we starting with?
President Muhammadu Buhari spoke during the opening of the Ministerial Performance Review retreats of his administration in Abuja, and he presented his scorecard of his administration, saying that his high-impact projects met the yearnings and expectations of Nigerians, and the level of progress made in the implementation of his 9-priority agenda had remarkably impacted sectors like power, communications, digital economy, oil and gas, national security, anti-graft war, social investment, health and agriculture. He said the Nigerian Air Force would, at the end of his tenure, have additional 36 fighter jets, that the Nigerian Air will also begin operations. Now, we've been talking about the Nigerian Air. They will be beginning operations before December 31st. And he went ahead to mention all the things that they have done, said there's a lot of investments in the purchase of weapons and other critical military hardware to ensure that we continue this training for them and fight against insecurity. It was a breakdown of everything. He talked about the power sector, the agricultural sector, all the sectors and what they had done. So it's a full list of everything the administration has done.
Okay, so the APC's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, revealed his manifesto yesterday. He was also he promised to champion the indivisible and prosperous Nigeria, and also vowing to improve on President Buhari's foundational infrastructure revolution. He also paid tribute to our founding fathers, Saudan Nabelu, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and quite a number of others, saying that he was going to assure the dream of those forefathers to be upheld and to ensure that no man is oppressed and have a nation of peace, and that the unity and diversity and peace and prosperity we have will continue to flourish. And he also made promise of all the other economic and infrastructural growth he plans to have, take out of school children back to school, invest more in power and agriculture. Just quite a number of things. It would be nice for everybody to look at the manifesto to even know and have an idea what this man plans to do for Nigeria if he becomes president. I think Peter Obi also had something like that. You have that story. Go ahead,
so Peter Obi's statement was he will unlock Nigeria's greatness. Now, the Labour Party presidential candidate for 2023 and former governor of Anambra State has promised to use Nigeria's resources to unlock its greatness if voted into power in the 2023 general elections. But he regretted that the country has slipped into terrains that qualify it as a failed state. So he has said that when a country is no longer in control of its economic and security, it is deemed a failed state. So he has promised that if elected, he'll make positive changes if he becomes president. He spoke at the Arawa thing in Kaduna State, a couple of other committees that were there. And then he said that security agencies will be well equipped to handle all forms of insecurity in the land.
Security was a major because even all the major parties, same the PDP, and even Atiku was saying that under his leadership, every inch of the national territory will be secured and defended. The military will receive the much needed protection. So everybody sees the importance.
It's a major problem.
It is a major problem.
Almost story. Go ahead, please, Mariam.
So this is about the PDP, but it's just a response to what a lot of people have been talking about, the statement by the presidential candidate of the PDP, talking about he being allegedly that he asked people to vote for him because he's northern. And Governor of Rivers State is asking PDP to make an apology to Nigerians because that statement, at first he was asked, he said, that statement, if true, because he doesn't want to believe that that's what he said, but that if it is true, the party needs to apologize to Nigerians because it comes across as northernizing the presidency, and especially at a time like this where we need to make sure that we're united. And he also, a spokesperson for the party had explained and said that the response that the presidential candidate gave was in response to someone's question who asked the question that was centered on the northern issue, and so he gave that. It was almost like a joke, like a humorous response, really. So it was not meant to come across the way it sounded. I said, so even if that's the case, the PDP needs to explain the context in which that statement was made so that people would understand.
Because it's been taken out of context.
All right, moving on to the Punch. 2023 presidency, Tinubu will be on full economic restructuring agenda to the north. Ministerial retreat, Buhari backs Nigeria Air, Shimbaju laments forex woes. Police arrest Lagos businessman over wife's death. Tuition hike, protesting Ogun police students disrupt exams, demand reversal. Kogi gunmen kill worshippers during church service. Immigration probes personnel over extortion at Lagos airport. Nigeria's debt risky and unsustainable, says report. Inflation hits 20.77% as food supply forex crisis worsen. And clerks ask Buhari to release Nnamdi Kanu and Knox Malami. Okay, which story? Human interest story? Who has that story?
Yes, so the Lagos State Police Command confirmed the arrest of the 37-year-old Lagos car dealer, Ikechukwu Ogbonna, a.k.a. IVD, over the death of his wife, Abimbola, in Lekki. So, said on Saturday, fire broke out in the house and the wife was rushed to the hospital where she died. But there's been this alleged domestic violence that has been happening between both of them. They said they've been married for 16 years, they've had 5 children, but they've been having issues back and forth. They had separated when the issues got to a certain level and just recently reconnected. So after the passing of the wife, he went on social media and posted some videos showing domestic violence issues. There was one of the videos that he posted where he was showing that he was bleeding. He was saying that the wife had just hit him and is bleeding. There was another video again when the wife was trying to destroy one of the vehicles and they could hear the late wife now, shouting at the background and all of that. So the family members of the wife had made a public statement that he has run away since the passing of his wife and they want justice, they want him found. But the police now has confirmed that he has been arrested. So I'm sure investigations. So
let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our reviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Still reviewing Punch. Have a story, Miriam?
Have a story. This is the sad story coming out of Kogi State. They said on Sunday, 2 persons were killed and 3 others injured at a church called Celestial Church of Christ at Felele, Lokoja. They said gunmen just got to the church and started shooting at people sporadically. And these people 2 of them were killed and the others injured. The police has confirmed that the incident happened and that they have started investigations to unravel who these gunmen are and why this has happened.
I was going to take the story, but go ahead.
So I have the story on immigration extorting people at Lagos Airport. So the immigration probes personnel over extortion at Lagos Airport. The Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Issa Idris, on Monday ordered the investigation of a case of extortion perpetrated by officers of the agency at the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Ikeja. Now, this was after a tweet was released on October 14 with handle at Darby, and she alleged that she paid the sum of 10,000 naira to the immigration officers before her passport was stamped. This was despite presenting her UAE visa at the immigration booth and several other things, Now, the Comptroller General has urged all Nigerians to feel free to contact the service through its various public communications channels, including Twitter and Facebook, at NIG Immigration, to lay all complaints and report any misdemeanor by any member of staff for appropriate sanctions.
That's good.
And we really hope that it can actually, curb
you just go to social media and just post things. Go to the right channel. The easiest thing to do is just post on social media, but go to the right channel, make a complaint. If you now don't get a response, you can ask, guys, I've done this to don't happen, but let's not always assume that going to social media is the right thing. I was going to take a story about our debt. So an Abuja-based policy think tank, Agora Policy, said that Nigeria's debt is unsustainable. And they put the country in a perilous situation. And the reason why they're saying that, according to them, the largest component of expenditure is our debt service, which is 1.94 trillion naira.
Wow.
When our recurrent expenditure is 1.7 trillion, capital expenditure is about 773 billion. So according to this report, our revenue is 1.63 trillion, while debt service is 1.94 trillion. That means that we're borrowing 308 billion naira to pay debt. This is obviously a perilous situation, and they're saying that we need to obviously increase our debt generation within the country. That's been a problem for a
revenue
long time.
generation.
That's what SLS was saying at CardInvest, that we're at 108%. So for every revenue we generate, we're actually using everything to pay back debt, and it's still not enough.
Not enough, because we're still borrowing. So obviously that's why this agency.
I think I should take this story. This is a story it's in Punch, and I don't have it anywhere else. It's the students of Moshood Abiola Polytechnic in Abeokuta in Ogun State, and they on Monday shut down the school. They're protesting what they are calling illegal fees and extortion by the management. Wow. They said that their fees have been increased, and so many of the fees that they paid have been increased, and that they are children of poor people and they want an education. They feel like they're being punished for wanting an education. Oh. But the management of the school has come out to say that they're actually the cheapest right now, the least expensive school in the Southwest, and that they even gave, they said that for the application forms, it ranges from 2,000 to 7,500 only, and acceptance fee is 35,500 only. And the reason I picked this story, because I wanted to find out if there was a conversation before the protest. They said examinations were going on and they disrupted the examination. So even their classmates could not get to write exams. Oh. So was there a conversation before then, or is the first thing to do to lock up, the school?
So this is an interesting topic, because it's worth discussing, because we all keep saying people are traveling out of education. Education around the world is expensive. So when they want to review in Nigeria, they say, oh, you carry plaque.
Children of the poor.
But then how do you then pay the teachers to stay on? So this is a conversation worth having. But let's move on to Vanguard very quickly. Floods, panic as corpses float in Bayelsa Delta cemeteries. LP PDP tackle Buhari over claims of meeting yearnings of Nigerians. Will deal with Dandit's other subversive elements if elected, says Tinubu. Wages strike looms in health, judiciary, and civil service, NLC warns. Nnamdi Kanu, U.S. ex-envoy Clark Ezife family caution federal government. Shutdown of broadcast station in Zamfara threat to democracy, says editors. Yoruba Nation rally, police cause sales girl's death. Nigeria has failed, I'll change narrative, says Peter Obi. All theft September crude oil production drops by 24.7%. And I'll tackle insecurity, revive industries if elected, says Atiku. Okay, which story are we starting with? Who has the floods?
So, yes, residents of Aeroplane Road in Yenegua, Bayelsa State, and Bomadi local government area of Delta State are raising alarm over floating corpses from submerged cemeteries in their area. So we've had the flood issues sacking different villages, and it's coming to their village. This is not going to be the first time it's happening, and they have a lot of floating corpses in the area. The fear is this may, turn to a health crisis, and they're calling out on the government to do something about it. There's also been a conversation ongoing on relocating the cemetery to another area. Some persons complain that instead of burying the corpses 6 feet, they do 3 feet in that area, and that's why you see them floating when there's a flood. So they've been asking that the government, comes into it. Also, Bomadi, Burutu, and Patani local government areas have almost the same issue. Most of their people had to go to the bridge to sleep because the flood just came and took over their houses. And they've been asking, the community leaders have been asking politicians and their government to give them some sort of aid and relief. And they said they just need 2 million to block the entry points. That with that 2 million naira, they can get enough sand, block the entry points and help. And nobody has come to their rescue. So this is a cry.
This is really sad.
And a call to the government to do something.
Sad. Because I read in the papers yesterday that the humanitarian minister went to Cameroon and talk to them. I'm thinking these are talks that should have happened even before they opened the dam. These are things that we should have discussed.
Have a conversation. And they open the dam every year.
This is gradually
proactive.
When they open it up, see how the whole thing
every year. And I'm sure they warn before they open the dam. So why do you wait?
This is really sad. Let's take another story in Vanguard. I was going to take the Nigerian Guild of Editors. They have expressed concern over the shutdown of 4 stations by the governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawale. According to the governor, these 4 stations covered the live protest of, I think I'm trying to see who were protesting. PDP, yes. They were actually, so they're covering the rally. It was actually a rally held by the governorship candidate of PDP, Dr. Dauda Lawan Dare. And according to the governor, he has expressly said that any type of rally is prohibited in the state because of the insecurity and the fact that it could be hijacked by all these bandits. So, yes, so that being said, he now shut down 4 stations. The 4 stations are NTA, Gamji Television, Alumna Television, and Pride FM station. Now, these stations were shut down. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't understand why would the governor do that? Because these stations are, the media is constitutionally backed to bring news to the people. If you shut them down, how do we then do our constitutional requirements? We're supposed to actually give the news. So what exactly? It's a democracy, for heaven's sake. So this is every debate. So the Nigerian Guild of Editors are obviously not happy with the governor and insisting that he should immediately reopen those stations. I'm trying to see if there's a response from the governor. I think he said that the shutdown stations would have been accused of unprofessional misconduct if they didn't cover the rally. So this is still NGE talking that if they didn't cover it, they would have been accused of unprofessional.
But they're also saying in a case like this, where the governor said that they had already banned political activities because of the security of that state, and we know the issues in those areas.
So you can find them.
What they should have done is have written a petition to the NBC, and that they would have had that instead of banning the...
Yes, NBC is the one that's authorized to shut down. They need to shut down.
Not outrightly shut down 4 media houses.
Yeah. Okay, which other story in Vanguard? Any other story?
I think there's the
What took Atiku?
Okay, Atiku talking about how he'll tackle insecurity and revive ailing industries if elected. He made special reference to Kaduna, where he said he'll revive ailing industries, especially in Kaduna State, if elected. He made the promise at a campaign rally in Kaduna yesterday. He, of course, thanked Kaduna State people for their unflinching support over the years for his aspiration. He says, I have come here to pledge on behalf of the PDP that if you give us your vote, we will restore peace in Kaduna State. I promise you that the road linking Kaduna and Kano, linking Kaduna to Jos, linking Kaduna to Abuja. Again, you know, Kaduna is a very central northern state. You know, it connects to other northern states. Will be completed by the grace of God. These are 4 undertakings that I'm taking on behalf of PDP in you. Okay. In your vote for PDP.
Okay, our final paper, Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we have not taken. Nigeria needs 20,000 more junior secondary schools, says UBEC. Flood, we talked about that already. Bayelsa Severed from Nigeria National Assembly Caucus. $5.5 billion Bambila Pass project. ICC verifies Sunrise legal beneficial ownership in project. COVID-19 contractors protest in Abuja, demand payment of medical supply to FCTA. Performance review, Buhari scores himself high. Nigeria's inflation rate hit 20.77% in September. And Kogi, gunmen attacked church, killed 2 injured others.
Yeah.
Story there?
I know we have talked about the flood already, but it's just some part of the story in this one, which is that apart from the one in Bayelsa and Delta State, of course, right now, the Bayelsa has been cut off from a lot of communities and people trying to ply the the east-west roads. But then also in Nasarawa State, we have a group of women. They are women farmers, and they are crying to the state and federal government, saying that they have lost agricultural product worth about 200 million in the flood, and also some crops estimated to over 50 million. And these are, I just had to take this, these are women who are farmers, and this is how the flood has affected them. They're talking of in Oyo State children, people carrying the elderly and children on their backs because of this. The people agree that this happens yearly, but that this is a bit different. I have a cousin who left my house this morning. He traveled from Bonny to Port Harcourt. I was trying to go to Oyo State to school and spent 2 days because they could not get to, when they got to Bayelsa, they couldn't access. So he had to go back to Port Harcourt, fly to Lagos, got on a train this morning to go to Ibadan to get to school. Yeah.
I was going to take very quickly UBEC. UBEC is saying that we need 20,000 schools within 3 kilometers of each community. He was saying this at, there was an event yesterday, and he was specifically saying that the federal government needs to, all the stakeholders must take responsibility in addressing the issue of the communities and the out-of-school children numbers that we have. According to him, we've not had enough schools, and there are lots of children who they go to for the basic education, but when it comes to secondary school, they fall off. So you find that many of them don't have, there's not enough secondary schools junior secondary schools to accommodate all these children. So we have to, these are alarming statistics, and we have to ensure that we build more schools to accommodate the teeming young children who graduate from primary schools and hope to enter secondary schools. Okay, that is all we can take on our review. When we come back, we move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.